Hey, what's going on, everybody? Chris Meaney here of FTN, and here are 5 things I'm looking for in week 1 of the NFL season. Number 5, all these brand new head coaches across the league, first-time head coaches, first-time OCs in new environments. I'm looking to see what the tendencies are for some of these play callers inside their new offenses with their new shiny toys. Now, it's going to take some time to get a feel of exactly what they're feeling, but I think we need to have these coaches under the spotlight in week 1. Let's start with Nick Sirianni and the Philadelphia Eagles. First-time head coach, comes from the Indianapolis Colts, where he has experience as an offensive coordinator, and the Colts inside the top 10 in run percentage in 2 of the last 3 years. Shane Steichen, OC with the Chargers last year. I believe he tried to establish the run, but the Chargers were playing from behind quite a bit. Now, that may be the case in Philadelphia as well, but 77% of Justin Herbert's passes last year came when trailing. Let's see if the Birds lean on the run game with their offensive line, which is healthy this year, which wasn't the case last year. Maybe cool and just ease expectations back, make things a little bit easier, less pressure for sophomore quarterback Jalen Hurts. But the big thing for me is I want to see the usage from Miles Sanders. He has 2 games in his NFL career where he has 20 carries, once last season and once as a rookie. And his rookie year was really good. He was one of 4 backs to have 4.6 yards per attempt, 50 catches, 500 receiving yards, and 800 rushing yards. But he thought he took a step back last season, but I don't think it was necessarily on him. He was one of the leaders among yards per carry. Only Nick Chubb and Derrick Henry have more 50-yard touchdowns than him since he entered the league. Let's see if they are indeed going to be run heavy and lean on Miles Sanders, or if Boston Scott and Kenneth Gainwell are going to come in and steal some carries and steal some catches. It's been frustrating to own Miles Sanders. Doug Peterson has used a committee over the past couple years. I'm looking at this running back room and seeing how things play out, and I think we'll get a good feel in week 1 with the Eagles. Brendan Staley, head coach for the Chargers, a defensive guy, DC with the Rams. I'm sure he learned a thing or two from Sean McVay. They ran the ball 44% of the time last year in Los Angeles. Joe Lombardi is going to be the OC. We have a lot of experience with him in Detroit and with New Orleans. The Saints, a bit of a balanced attack over the past few years, more so run heavy in each of the last 2 years. But I want to see the usage with Austin Eckler, Justin Jackson, and Joshua Kelly sprinkled in there. I want to see if Eckler is going to be a 14-plus carry guy week in and week out. Is he going to be a goal line guy? Is he going to be a red zone guy that gets the ball on the ground? Because last year he was 4th on his team in red zone rushing attempts. Arthur Smith, head coach in Atlanta and play caller with the Titans last year, top 10 offense actually in each of the past 2 seasons. Only Baltimore and New England ran the ball more than Tennessee last year. Atlanta, bottom 10 in run percentage last season, but also a team playing from behind. Matt Ryan led the league in passing attempts. He's been inside the top 3 in each of the last 3 seasons. Let's see if they try to lean on the run, if they have some play action there. Let's see that offense also with Kyle Pitts. Urban Meyer, head coach with Jacksonville, no NFL experience as a head coach. I think he's going to be the most unpredictable head coach of the bunch. With the Buckeyes, there was times where he was run heavy and pass heavy. I want to see the tendencies of Darrell Bevell, though. OC since 2006, first with the Jags here, run heavy in Detroit and Seattle, but he had AP and Marshawn Lynch. Robert Saleh, New York Jets head coach, first-time head coach, a defensive guy. He brings over Mike LaFleur, who is going to be the OC, pass game coordinator with the 49ers, run heavy behind a good offensive line. I think that's going to be the case here with the Jets as well. Let's see how all those running backs take shape in New York. Shane Waldron, OC for Seattle, coming from Sean McVay tree. Yeah, give it to me. This I probably should have led with Shane Waldron, pass game coordinator the last 3 years with the Rams. Not a lot of experience calling plays, but I think this is going to be an aggressive offense. We all want Russ to cook. Last year, the most passing attempts in his NFL career. And we've seen, we've heard from players, DK Metcalf, talking about this offense and how it's going to be different. But Tyler Lockett, he's been there for a while. He says Wide are going to have freedom in the running routes that he has never seen in his time with Seattle. And plus, a big takeaway for me is that in the draft, nobody had fewer picks than Seattle, and they wasted one on a wide receiver in Dwayne Eskridge. I think this team's going to be very aggressive, and that's exciting. Number 4, all these rookie skilled players, Kyle Pitts, Najee Harris, Jamar Chase, Devonta Smith, Elijah Moore, Rondale Moore, Jalen Waddle, Terrace Marshall. I'm looking at these guys, the roles that they're going to carve out right away. I like Elijah Moore right off the hop here with Jamison Crowder. Not going to play in this game. I want to see the usage of Rondale Moore. They used him quite a bit in the preseason end-arounds. They made a point to get him the football. Does this mean He's locked into the slot, and it's bad news for Christian Kirk. Let's see how this plays out. Kyle Pitts, how are they going to use him in Atlanta, move him all over the field? Najee Harris, is he going to be a 20-touch guy in Mike Tomlin's offense like we've seen before with multiple running backs? If so, he's going to be a fantasy goldmine. Jamar Chase, are the drops going to continue? How's the usage going to look like with the 3 studs in Cincinnati? And then Devonta Smith, is he going to be a 7 or 8 target per game guy in Philadelphia? Or is Hurts going to lean on the 2 tight ends? I want to see all that play out. I'm keeping an eye on these rookie pass catchers. Number 3. All these running back by committees: Denver, Williams and Gordon; Arizona, Connor and Edmonds; San Fran, Mostert and Sermon; Buffalo, Moss and Singletary. We have a history of that. I'm not so much intrigued with that backfield. In Houston, all the running backs, and Ingram and Lindsey and DJ and Rex. But most importantly, it's Denver for me. Javonte Williams didn't play week 3 of the preseason, and they wanted to just feature Melvin Gordon. I thought that was a little odd. They know what they have in Melvin Gordon, and it was interesting to see him get so much run in week 3. Is this going to be a 50-50, 60-40 in favor of Gordon, 60-40 in favor of Williams right off the hop? That would be really good for Williams owners. Looking at the Arizona backfield as well, is Chase Edmonds going to be a guy that gets some carries on the ground, or is it really going to be Connor filling in for the Kenyon Drake role that he had last season? Is Connor indeed going to be the goal line back, or is Edmonds going to get a couple red zone rushing attempts? He had 1 last season. Number 2, 12 teams with a new quarterback this season, including 3 rookies. Sam Darnold with Carolina, Carson Wentz with Indy, Jameis Winston with New Orleans, Teddy Bridgewater in Denver, Matthew Stafford, LA, Fitzpatrick with Washington, Jared Goff in Detroit, Andy Dalton, Tyrod Taylor, Houston and Chicago to a lesser extent, and the rookies, which we'll get to. I'm looking at Sam Darnold. Gets away from Adam Gase with Joe Brady. All kinds of amazing pass catchers who are explosive after the catch inside that offense. Christian McCaffrey, who we can lean on. DJ Moore. Robbie Anderson, his old buddy, and Terrace Marshall, who Brady is familiar with. I think Sam Darnold could be a top 12 quarterback this year with all of those weapons. Let's see what he can do in week 1 against his former team. Carson Wentz with his old buddy Frank Reich. Is he going to be able to bounce back, or is he still going to have some jitters to his game and some panic throws, which he had in Philadelphia last year? Winston, I want to see. The deep ball does seem like it's going to be back, but the wide receiver core is thin. Is he going to take risks? He can't be a guy throwing 3 or 4 picks. Is he going to avoid Marcus Callaway because Jair Alexander is on him, or is he going to pepper Callaway like he peppered Godwin and Evans in his time with Tampa Bay? Matthew Stafford with this new offense, I think the sky's the limit for Stafford and the Rams, but who's going to be his guy? Is it going to be Woods? Is it going to be Kupp? Is he going to take some shots down the field with Van Jefferson and Deshaun Jackson? Is he going to lean on Tyler Higbee? I think his guy is going to be Cooper Kupp, and I'm intrigued to see how this offense plays out. And then Teddy Bridgewater, the Denver weapons, he's surrounded with lots of weapons there. I think it's going to be good for Jerry Jeudy's game, but also let's see if this offense can just not turn the ball over, if Bridgewater can be a game manager and take some shots down the field with some of the studs that he does indeed have inside this offense. It's going to take some time to see some of the rookies, but let's get to them right now. Number 1, Trey Lance, Justin Fields. I mentioned it will take some time before these guys get under center, unfortunately, but I'm looking at Trevor Lawrence this week against the Texans. A really good first matchup for Lawrence, the first overall pick. Zach Wilson against Carolina, and then Mac Jones against Miami. Over the last 5 years, Sam Darnold's the only rookie quarterback to win week 1, and he started it with the pick 6, a turnover. I don't know how many of these quarterbacks are going to have success, but I could see 2 of 3 of them winning this weekend. I'm looking at Trevor Lawrence to see who's going to be his guy. Is he going to lean on Marvin Jones like he did in the preseason? How is Laviska Shenault going to look inside this offense? Is DJ Chark going to be a guy that catches some of those deep passes that he had last season that, he just wasn't able to catch because of poor quarterback play? Is Zach Wilson really going to give Corey Davis 10-plus targets week in and week out? How is he going to look with Elijah Moore? And then Mac Jones. I want to see this offense. It is going to be run heavy, a lot of 12, use the tight ends, but I'm looking to see who is going to be the guy for some of these rookie quarterbacks. Is it going to be Jonnu Smith inside that offense? Is it going to be Jacoby Myers? Is Hunter Henry going to be sprinkled in there as well? The usage is going to be similar between both tight ends. So I want to see the first reads and who some of these young quarterbacks are going to lean on right away. Enjoy week 1. It's finally here. It's going to be fantastic, and we'll look back at the 5 biggest takeaways from week 1, and we'll be back next week with 5 things to look for in week 2. Any questions, hit me up at Chris Meaney. Good luck this week with all your pools and all your teams and all your bets. We'll talk to you soon. Cheers.